Okay, just got done with our first scrimmage. I think it was right at 90 plays. We started out the practice with some live field goal block at the front. That's always good to get some good information there. In the scrimmage, everyone got a chance to play. We operated in 3 groups like we've been operating up to this point. Just put the ball at the 30-yard line, let it go down. If the defense stopped them, we brought the punter, the snapper, and the punt returner out there. If it's a field goal, it was not live. I think our field goal guys did a good job with kicking and all that. And if they scored a touchdown, we did extra point. But really good information. Got a chance to let everybody play. This will be super evaluation for our coaches. The starters that really were main starters last year played about 2 series, maybe 3 at the most. So got a chance for a lot of these new guys to really get out there and show what they can do and learn from, as far as expectation, everything that goes with it. And I think we got out pretty injury-free, which that's always a great thing, in the spring too. Questions?
Good to know you haven't looked at the film from today yet, but were there maybe a couple guys or a handful of guys that stood out to you that are having maybe a good camp so far and a good day today?
I'm going to be honest, I was administrating back there, just making sure everything was right and all that. I was thinking more big picture from, how each group handles adversity, how they success. Do we hustle off on the field? Do we protect the football? Do we get the football? I do think there was 2 turnovers and there was an interception. I think there was a fumble that the defense got, a few TFLs and sacks. I think the offense scored a few times, touchdowns, and I think we had a couple field goals. So it was kind of a mix and match type deal, but no one right now as far as individually until I look at it.
John Rice, Timmy, and Thomas, how did the quarterback rotate? How did the snaps break down?
Yeah, John Rice played in the first half, did a very solid job. It was good for Thomas to get out there. You can tell he's an older guy. You can just feel his presence being different than it was last year. And then Timmy finished up the scrimmage and did a good job. So that was by design, but all 3 of them got reps.
Coach, it seems like the defense has been working on turnovers a lot. And you mentioned they got a few today. How proud are you of those guys to see the drills return to the field?
Yeah, that was really one of our focuses. Like, we got to get more turnovers, So that's been a real focus. More TFLs, more sacks, more turnovers. They all kind of go together with that. And then, of course, offensively, we're focused on protecting that football. So it's kind of been, an emphasis on both sides. Really, we got to improve in red zone offense last year. We were really good on offense, but red zone was the one that really stood out. And then pushing the ball down the field, vertically down the field with some explosive pass plays. Really, that was our focus really on both sides of the football coming in the spring.
Coach, did you notice a lack of communication on the offensive line, or just in the offense in general? Maybe to tune up a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, we're putting in, a new communication system, all together. And so that was your first time to get out there and feel what it feels like, new signals and all that. So the guys are still learning the process with that.
Coach, who would you say which of the offense or the defense won the scrimmage today?
There were some good things on both sides. The hard thing is, we've got a couple of defensive linemen, really 3 of our main defensive linemen that only played 2 series, So, there were some good things really on both sides of the football.
What's been the main impact that you've seen after maybe 6 days of Darren Hinshaw working with the quarterbacks? Just from the quarterback's coach perspective, how is he mentoring and bringing those guys along?
Yeah, he's a relationship guy. He's really working on their footwork, and throwing the football from the ground up. And, the guys have really responded to him. And, I think our quarterbacks have improved, since day 1 till today.
Coach, with the new coordinators, with new offensive coordinators, new defensive coordinators, how would you say the installs and the new working on both sides of the ball is going?
The defense has been a little slower with installs. The foundation offense, we've installed a whole lot of offense, and we'll kind of clean things up the second part of the spring. But I think both groups have a decent understanding of the expectations, what the coordinators are expecting.
Coach, now with first scrimmage over, as we all move along in spring, what's your message to keep the guys healthy?
We're doing everything we can from a coach's standpoint, and our older guys, we know we're going to treat them like pros, and young guys, a big key of being successful in college football is staying healthy. and, getting treatment and making sure you get sleep and make sure you eat and all that. So we're really focusing on that with the younger guys. Our older guys got a really good idea of that already. We'll scrimmage next Thursday, have another one to be more situational. Then that our spring game will be more fan friendly, which will be good for that. But we're almost halfway through spring now. We'll get great information. What we'll do now is we'll come back and we'll start cleaning things up, being a little bit more specific.
What do you think you have to clean up? I mean, you mentioned Saturday practice, scrimmage next Thursday. What are you going to work on this?
Yeah, it's just who we're going to be offensively and defensively and start perfecting. Anytime you install, there's a lot of install, and the next day you make correction and you install more. The second part, you can kind of slow down and really get the fine tuning of those things that really make plays successful or not.
Coach, you mentioned it being your first scrimmage, kind of doing a little bit more administrative. How's that role been transitioning kind of from the offensive play caller to just kind of more behind the scenes, overlooking the entire program?
Yeah, I mean, just making sure the standard across the board, coaching the coaches. But I've done it before, so it's not anything new that I hadn't done before.
Coach, your wide receiver, I feel like Javon and Kobe are established. Maybe you're looking for, more people you can rely on there. Has anyone kind of, stood out? There's some transfers in the mix. What do you kind of see from the wide receiver position?
Yeah, I mean, the guys are doing a good job in the receiver room. You're exactly right. We're trying to develop depth. Xavier Townsend really is taking that next step. And, the transfers that have come in, they've all caught our eyes from time to time. They're all going to help us play. So I feel real strong at this point telling you we'll have more depth at wide receiver position.
I know we've asked you about John Rice and juggling the schedule with baseball. Next week really begins the first real conflict when you look at the schedule, because UCF goes on the road on a Tuesday. They fly out of Miami to go to ECU. So do you know at this point, will John Rice be at practice next week?
Yeah, we're still working through the logistics, and we knew there'd be some, and we saw the schedule at the very first and knew that this would be probably our major challenge. But we are scrimmaging on Thursday, before they play, so we're working on that right now.
Can you talk a little bit about the development of the defensive backs now that Coach Addison Williams is the defensive coordinator?
Yeah, there's a lot of carryover. I know Addie switched up a couple things, but the great thing is him and Gibbs have been the defensive back coaches for 2 years, so our guys really understand their expectations.
What have you seen from Randy Pittman? We heard some good stuff, this past week from players and Coach Blackman. As a freshman, it seems like he's really looking good out there.
Football player. Yeah, he's a football player, and we knew that when we recruited him. I mean, you go watch him play defense, play the offense, and just, he's the physicality part, I mean, it's like he's been here a while. I mean, it's been very impressive to watch him and his development. He's got a chance to be a really, really good player.
How comfortable you are with the kicking game behind Boomer? I know he's a little injured right now.
Yeah, the great thing about that is we know what we got with Boomer. I mean, he had one of the best, years of a kicker in all of college football last year. And then we got a new guy coming in, and we got older guys spending, so they're getting all the reps. And I think you can't have enough depth, at that position. So that's been the positive.
I don't know if we're going to talk to Herb Hand at some point, but center is obviously a big question, this spring. What are you seeing for that? I know Lakahi maybe started out there. I know you got some other options, some transfers of the freshman last year. What's center looking like?
Yeah, Lakahi started out. We moved him back to guard. We're letting the other two guys rotate, which is good, and see what happens with that. And Saturday, I'm going to let our co-coordinators speak. Herb Hand, I'm moving him up to be a co-coordinator. He's been one of my guys for a long time, and so you get a chance to hear him and David Gibbs on Saturday, and they can give you, information on their positions too.
Well, tell us more about that, because you and Herb Hand go back a long way. You were both on the same staff at Tulsa. Is that right?
Yeah. He was real instrumental in putting together the hurry-up, no-huddle offense, and we married some things up, and we were both co-coordinators, and of course, obviously at Auburn and all that. And of course, Darren is a new guy coming in, and so it's really a healthy deal with kind of merging those two things together.
Coach, can you give us a little update on the new recruits and how they looked out there today?
I'll say this, all of our young guys coming in, we hit on all of them. They're all football players, and that's a good thing. And I'll say all the transfers, I feel the same way about that. So that's very, very positive.
Couple housekeeping things about some guys. I know Keenan Hester, had an issue last
Yeah.
season, wasn't able to play after maybe the first couple of games. I know he's still listed on the roster. Kind of what's his status? going
Yeah,
forward?
he is, right now, he is helping Coach Martin coach. I mean, he's a phenomenal person, had a medical procedure that we're still kind of up in there, but right now, his role is helping our guys and just being an encourager, and he's done a super job with that.
And I know a couple offensive line. One, Adrian Medley. I know there was high expectations from him. He got hurt in the spring game, serious injury. I know he's kind of back. What's kind of his
Yeah,
timeline?
Adrian's doing some kind of walk-through things behind the scene. We do expect him to be full go in June, which is good. The great thing about Adrian, he started before. He understands up front what we're doing and all that, so we're excited. Him and Grayboard are back there in the back, and they're not missing anything. They're walking through, taking their steps, and so, we're definitely glad to have him back when he gets back.
And that's the last question. Grable, I know he's not full go. Is he to be back at some point?
Yes, he'll be back in the summer too, and so, both those guys will be full throttle in the summer, and they won't miss a beat.
Also.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.